Imagine being invited to the most important wedding celebration of your lifetime. Not just any wedding, but a royal wedding. A feast prepared by a king for his own son. Everything is already paid for. The food is ready. The seats are prepared. All you have to do is come. This is the picture Jesus paints when he tells the story known as the parable of the marriage feast. It's a simple story, but it carries a deep message about invitation, choice, and what it really means to respond when God calls. Jesus says the kingdom of heaven is like a king who prepared a wedding feast for his son. The king is joyful. This is a moment of celebration. Nothing is missing, nothing is delayed, and everything is perfectly prepared. When the feast is ready, the king sends his servants to call those who had already been invited. But something unexpected happens. The guests refuse to come. So the king sends more servants. This time he makes it very clear. He tells them to say, "The meal is ready. The best animals have been prepared. Everything is ready." But once again, the invited guests refuse. Some of them brush it off casually. One goes back to his farm. Another returns to his business. Life feels more important to them than the invitation. Others respond in a much darker way. They grab the king's servants, mistreat them, and even kill them. When the king hears this, he is furious. He sends his army, destroys those murderers, and burns their city. Their rejection was not harmless. It was deliberate, and it carried consequences. Then the king says something striking. He says the wedding feast is ready, but those who were invited were not worthy. So he gives a new instruction. He tells his servants to go out into the streets and the highways and invite everyone they can find. The servants go out and gather everyone, the good and the bad, the rich and the poor, the respected and the forgotten. People who never expected an invitation now find themselves welcomed into a royal celebration. Soon, the wedding hall is completely full. At this point, it feels like the story has reached a happy ending. The feast is filled with guests, laughter, and celebration. But then the king enters the hall to see the guests, and he notices one man who is not wearing wedding clothes. The king approaches him and asks, "Friend, how did you get in here without wedding garments?" The man has no answer. He stands there in silence. In those days, it was common for a king to provide wedding garments for guests, especially for those who could not afford them. This man was not excluded. The clothing was available to him. He was invited. He was welcomed. But he chose not to wear what was provided. The king then gives a serious command. He orders that the man be tied hand and foot and thrown outside into the darkness, where there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. Jesus ends the story with a powerful statement. Many are called, but few are chosen. This story is not really about a wedding. It is about God and his invitation to humanity. The king represents God. The wedding feast represents life in God's kingdom. The invitation is God calling people to know him, to respond to his grace, and to be part of his purpose. God prepares everything. The invitation is generous and freely given. Nothing has to be earned. No payment is required. Yet some people ignore the invitation, not because they reject God openly, but because they are distracted. Their work, their plans, and their daily concerns feel more important. The story reminds us that being busy is not the same as being faithful. Ignoring God does not always look dramatic. Sometimes it simply looks like postponing him. At the same time, the parable shows us something beautiful. When some reject the invitation, God does not close the door. Instead, he opens it wider. The invitation reaches everyone, no matter their past, their status, or their mistakes. Grace is not limited to a select few. Everyone is invited. But the man without wedding garments teaches us one final lesson. Accepting the invitation is not just about showing up. It is about being willing to be changed. The wedding garment represents a transformed life, one shaped by humility, repentance, and obedience. God invites us as we are, but He does not leave us as we are. The parable leaves us with a personal question. How are we responding to the invitation? Are we too distracted to notice it, too comfortable to take it seriously, or willing to come and allow God to change us? The invitation still stands. The feast is ready. The door is open. But the response matters. As Jesus reminds us, many are called, but few are chosen.
I hope you were blessed by this episode, and please like, share, and subscribe for others to learn about Jesus.